Hi again, it's Howard. We have another product that I formulated. Biomedicals in the past, we don't do it anymore sadly because the fellow who did the lab work on hair analysis for us passed away, and I'm just unable at an effective cost to find another lab that can do our hair analysis adequately. We have a computer program that used to write a 20-odd, 24-page report on the status of a person's health with regard to their elements. But each and every hair analysis I've ever done, and we have done thousands, each and every individual is toxic. I've never come across a person who is not toxic. A baby born today, in fact, will have levels of DDT born today. So it was evident that I had to come up with a formulation that would chelate. It's a Greek term, it can be pronounced chelation, but to chelate is to actually claw or to take out these toxic compounds. So Cellaris was evolved or developed, and it's a herbal-based formulation that extracts toxic compounds. Now those toxins can be the hair analysis that we did, it could be mercury, it could be uranium, in fact, it could be fallout from Fukushima that in fact these compounds will take out. But I need to take a few steps back here and explain how this chelation therapy works and what the body does with these toxic compounds. You see, the Industrial Revolution really was only some 250 years ago. The development of our DNA and our body's ability to extract these toxic compounds out of us is not developed yet. Our liver can't cope with it, and the term is sequestration. That is that the body sequests these toxic compounds, whether it could be aluminium, it could be mercury. I can tell you some wonderful stories of work that we've done, particularly with silver. One particular patient, she was diagnosed with epilepsy where it was toxicity of silver. Once she started on we knew that because we did the hair analysis and discovered that she was excessively toxic with silver. She lived in Mount Isa, Queensland. It's the second largest silver mine in the world, but in fact that wasn't the cause of it. She worked in a lab, a photography lab, and she used to mix the silver in the formulation to do the processing, and that's actually where she became toxic some 15 years prior to these epileptic fits. So I think it was just the hair that broke the camel's back, so to speak, by moving to Mount Isa and picking up the silver in the atmosphere and so forth, and the dust. But however, the Cellaris reduced her. We did a follow-up 7 months later, hair analysis, and there was evidence that the silver levels were dramatically less. But it's about Cellaris, and it's about the sequestration. The body is unable to cope with it, so it sequesters it. And where does it sequester it? Mostly in fat. And the brain is dominantly made of fat, and the heart, of course, here it is in my chest, but the aorta goes straight up, and there's two carotid arteries and there's two cervical arteries. Every other organ in the body doesn't have four arteries, whereas the brain does. And it's under massive pressure, and it pushes these compounds into the brain and into the fat. And it's one of the underlying causes of a lot of brain and psychological disorders, this toxicity. So the Cellaris gets into the system, it claws it out, but it doesn't take it all out. And the scenario is, if we say that it's taking out 100 units, it recycles. The liver again doesn't know how to cope with it, and so 95% of that compound may well go back into the brain, and 5% may be taken out either through the feces, urine, perspiration, or respiration. Of the 2 litres a day that they suggest the alternative medical world and people, it's common knowledge to have 2 litres of water a day. That's another subject. You can take too much water. But the point is that of those 2 litres, literally 1 litre is respired out on the breath as we speak. If I was in Canada, you'd see me talking. That's the moisture coming out of my body. You can actually smell toxicity. I have worked in Mount Isa, and there's also a lead mine. That's the biggest income, as I understand it. And a leaded person is actually, you can smell the odour of the lead toxicity. Again, Cellaris will pull that out. So it's a very effective product, but you can't take too much too soon, too quick. That's the whole point. If you took a high dose of it, you're bringing out too much of the toxicity and you can make yourself very ill. So if you do start on Cellaris, I highly recommend it. It's not a medical term, but you just start with just a pinch in a large glass of water, stir it up well and drink that down, and increase it until you're not taking any more than 1/4 teaspoon per day. And it may take months, it could take years, and there's great evidence because of our atmosphere and foods and plastic container and xenoestrogens, and the story goes on and on and on. Toxicity is a huge issue of the modern world, and there's great evidence to take Cellaris on a regular basis. I certainly do. So that's Cellaris. I hope you enjoy it. All the best.